Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Get in the Garage.
We're a music podcast.
For music lovers.
We have a great show planned for you today. Lots of great music news and all that stuff. But before we get into it, please remember to like and comment and subscribe and tell all your friends and enemies and beloveds and everybody and share it. And, we
Tell
appreciate...
a stranger.
Tell a stranger. Tell anybody you want. Luke, can you tell the good people what to expect for this episode while I pull up the theme music?
Yes, we have music news. We are going to cover Pitchfork's 150 best albums of the 1990s. Question mark, maybe not. We are also going to talk, we're never going to talk about it, but are they the best albums is the contention here. We are also going to talk about new albums from Willow and Charlie Puth. It's very exciting. We have a jam-packed show, lots of laughs, lots of music. Hit that theme song.
We're predicting the laughs in advance.
Are you not laughing now?
I am.
See?
Lots of laughs.
Really loud. The theme song is quite loud.
Yes. So for people who don't know, we're recording in the morning for the first time in a long time. We normally record in evenings, so we're a bit crusty-eyed and tired, but here we are doing our thing.
Yeah, I overslept. I woke up about a half hour ago. and I spent 5 minutes looking for sunglasses so I wouldn't look like I was a corpse, but I'm going to do my best.
It gives you a nice rich timbre, though, in the morning. We have a nice low end. That
thank you.
sounds like we're on old school radio.
My voice is always high, raspy, and unpleasant to listen to, so let's continue.
So as always, we're gonna open up with some music news. Luca, do you have you're kind of the anchor today? I have I kind of have a couple things, but
I'm doing the weather on
are
this
you
new
doing the weather?
Give me that telegraph noise. Let's
feel
break
like
it into the
shit.
music news. Thank you. Music news. This is the biggest news this week. Pop punk icons Blink-182 have reunited with Tom DeLonge, their guitar player who's been out of the band for some time, since 2015. So we have the classic lineup back together. They are going on a new tour, and they have released the new song Edging, which is now out. You can listen to it. All puns intended. Alex, do you have that video queued up? Please show the boys this fun promo video that was released. It is full of fun innuendo, but Blink-182 is back. It's one of the biggest news of the week. All 30-year-olds on Earth are really happy. Here's this video.
I cannot stop thinking about them coming.
I've tried hundreds of different ways to make them come.
Every night, I pray for them to come.
My husband and I would love to watch them come.
If they come, I'm getting hammered.
We would do anything to make them come.
That's right, honey. Anything.
If they come, I'm gonna explode.
Oh. Could you imagine all three of them coming?
That'd be sick.
If they're gonna come, I better start stretching.
Wait until I tell my grandkids they're coming.
Oh, they're gonna come!
Guys, they're gonna come!
They're gonna come!
They're coming!
They're finally coming!
So that was the video.
Yeah.
We will insert it into the show, in the fun promo.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
Remember in Austin Powers, we're like, it looks like an enormous giant.
Peak humor.
Yeah,
So it's pure Blink-182 childish humor. In other news, Matt Skiba of Alkaline Trio fame is out of the band. So
whatever will he do?
Thank you for your service.
Bummer summer. Let's rep.
Oh yeah.
But so he's out of the band and probably back to Alkaline Trio duties. Who knows? Tom DeLonge wrote him a nice note. You can go read that online.
Go fuck yourself. This is my band.
Kind of, but in a nice way. So during all that, they also released this 2023-24 giant world tour, which let's talk for a minute about tickets, because tickets have been astronomically expensive.
Yeah, they've been a kind of a hot button topic.
Yep. So they are really expensive. I've heard like $200 to like $800. Who knows? Anywhere in between there. I'm sure you've heard the same thing.
know. Yeah, I know someone that I used to work with who said that it was some sort of Facebook post or something, and it was like, well, 2 tickets and $825 later, we're going to see Blink-182, and you're like, holy shit, you spent over $800 to go see Blink-182.
To be fair, that is like my price. like that they would have to pay me to go see them. So, like, you know.
Yeah. Well, but they're quite the talk of the music industry right now. But it also poses, I think, the bigger question, which is kind of like, is this Blink-182's fault, or is it really the fault of like the way that somebody can go on there, pay the regularly priced ticket fee, and then turn around and resell those tickets for an outrageous price?
So much edging.
I think
so much edging.
Thank you, Alex. I think the other note on the table is Blink-182 is notoriously one of the worst live bands of that genre ever to exist.
Is the Tom the singer? No, it's
Tom's. They both sing.
Yeah,
but
Mark sings more.
But he's the lead or whatever.
Mark's technically the lead.
I did read an article that said that he sounds embarrassing bad live. Now.
They all Travis Barker is an amazing drummer
right.
and can play his ass off, but they were notoriously not a very tight band. They were like really, really sloppy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see if that if the show is worth its
sloppy
money.
songs about shitting your pants and jerking off, being 53 years old. Or I know
that's what all the kids are connecting to.
Here's
right now.
what it is, man. It's because Travis Barker is a Kardashian now.
Right.
So like, people our age, yes, want to go see a band that reunited. Oh, the glory days of 2002. But it's also like 18-year-old kids who are like, Travis Barker, he's part of the royal family now, and he's like the drummer of the last 40 years. And it's like, he's a good drummer.
Yeah.
He's a drummer.
Yeah.
He's one of the best drummers, but also like,
he's also the hip rock producer of the moment.
Yeah, and it's this whole like FOMO culture of, well, my friend got a ticket. Well, my friend got a ticket, and it just drives that price up.
Right.
So what probably started at $110 for stadium tickets, it goes up to like $240.
Yeah,
like that, because it's supply and demand. And
yeah. So I know the show that I'm referencing that my old coworker is going to. That's at the TD Garden in Boston. I don't know. I'm sure it ranges depending on like where they're going in the area and all that stuff. They're also on that. They're also one of the headliners along with Green Day on that like When We Were Young festival.
Is that still going forward?
Was that canceled?
The original one happened. Already, or whatever.
Okay.
And this is the next year's. Yeah, it's like they're doing it again.
Is that a one-off weekend?
I think so. It's like
not
a Coachella.
It's not like Warped Tour where they do like 20 dates.
It's like a one and done.
No,
kind of thing,
it's like a one and done in Vegas. I think it is. I don't know if they moved the location, but those tours, like the Lollapaloozas, Warped Tours, Ozfest that used to tour the country, those became unprofitable. I don't know why, but they all became massively unprofitable.
It's crew costs. And breaking down stages and setting up lighting rigs and all that.
That's a massive tour.
That's why
if you really think about it.
That's why you see like our generation used to go to those, and they used to be like, oh, we're gonna go every summer to the Warped Tour. Thank you, Blink-182. But now it's festival dates.
Yeah. What's up?
In fairness, like Red Hot Chili Peppers, not on the same scale, but their tickets were around $800 a piece.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
But
they
also,
were up there too.
That's front row max price.
I'm gonna also that
floor seats.
Yeah. I'm gonna also that statement with I think the Chili Peppers are a way better band to go see because more hits, just way more hits, bigger band, bigger audience, way more.
I'll spend $40 and go see The Offspring. They have more hits than Blink-182.
My friend's
but
got a girlfriend and he hates that.
And I like that band a lot more than Blink-182.
Kind of
same
like
here,
that's
same
kind
here.
of what
Crazy Taxi, man.
Isn't that kind of what I'm saying though? Is like you know what I mean? Like Blink-182 is a great band, but like man, the Offspring have
Blink-182 is a good band.
You know what I would pay $40 to go see? The lead singer of Smash Mouth have an existential crisis, boozing himself to death on stage.
Our generation's G.G. Allen.
But this is what I'm saying. We're living in a world where the Offspring do get played on the radio every single day, way more than Blink-182. They were always more popular band, but they can't go do this tour that Blink-182 is doing right now, which is like, bam, and like you're also saying it's the Kardashian factor. It's just a lot of interesting things going on.
Yeah, I thought about that after the fact because I was like, who the fuck? Like even with Travis Barker, and then I was talking to Jade about it, and she's like, yeah, he's with one of the Kardashians. That's probably one of the big driving things behind it. And I don't know. I guess I forgot about that. But Travis Barker is one who hangs out with like Machine Gun Kelly now, right? Aren't they like buddies?
Yeah, he's the star producer.
Oh, right.
And the rock and roll producer guy.
And their girlfriends are like best friends.
Yeah, Megan Fox, right?
Wives or whatever they are. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
who knows? But it's just interesting. I think the whole thing with the what do they call that price whatever
price
where
gouging.
Price gouging, but then it's also like that. It's that
I know what you're saying. It's the price
like the
price fluctuation.
Yeah, it's like the price goes up based off of the demand rather than like actually this
demand
is how much
pricing.
Actually,
that's what it's called. Demand pricing.
Demand pricing. Is that
I don't know. I'm the biggest pop punk hater in this group.
Yeah, true.
And I mean, and even if I was being honest, I'm ranking, let's say, 90s to early 2000s pop punk bands. Blink-182 is like, they're not higher than third.
Yeah.
I mean, straight up, Green Day I hold in higher regard. Offspring I hold in higher regard.
Yeah.
NoFX I hold in higher regard. Like I would probably name.
I think Blink-182 is a much better band than like a NoFX, but it's they made the Enema of the State album. It's the crossover pop punk album.
I mean,
it's the one that got played on MTV.
Yeah, everybody remembers the music video when they're like running through the streets naked.
It is a good music video,
right? So
TRL.
It's the whole they lived the moment. They created the toilet humor that's them. Green Day's not really like Dookie, yes, but like. You know what I'm saying?
It's literally toilet humor.
But they brought it to the nth degree of like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
I know
the
what you're
whole,
saying.
it's the imagery. They're running naked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the bigger,
they're the
bigger
frat boys.
The bigger idea here though is it's like now it's like mid 40-year-olds singing that kind of music. So it's like, all right, maybe you're a little too.
All right,
too
given
old.
the iconic music videos, given the choice. Blink-182, All the Small Things, where they're parodying all the boy band videos, or Bloodhound Gang's Bad Touch, where they're dressed like lemurs and they're going around the town humping things.
Oh, I think you already know the answer to that one.
Oh, thank you.
I think I'm into the Blink-182.
Yeah.
I'm living in Madagascar, baby. I want to be amongst the lemurs.
Neck and neck when I was like 11 years old watching TV.
But like stylistically, same thing. But
yeah.
just very interesting times we're living in. We're definitely full in on the pop punk wave, and now for some reason it's a credible form of music.
For some reason,
for some strange reason.
It's good.
Listen though,
I like it.
I played this music in my youth, was part of it, and this was never on anybody's mainstream anything. It was always like the garbage outcast. Everybody knew it was like it was bubblegum music, but now it has a it's the new rock format. So guys, I have another one if you want to keep going.
Sure, yeah, go ahead, keep the ball rolling.
Genuine almost died, and
I saw that.
Chris Angel is to blame.
The goddamn mind freak himself.
Exclusive singer Genuine.
There's no reality.
I love his music career. We should do a whole episode.
So good. Jonathan Davis really knew a star when he saw one.
So singer Genuine passes out after holding his breath in tank of water as dangerous stunt for Chris Angel magic show goes horribly wrong in shocking clip. I did not watch the shocking clip because I couldn't find it linked to this article I found. But oh my god, I'm scrolling through shit here. But so basically, Genuine was doing a magic show, a celebrity magic show with Chris Angel.
Stop the sentence there. Genuine was doing a magic show.
I would say it was Genuine.
If you don't know, by the way, the article I read pointed out that Genuine is the My Pony singer in quotations.
My
pony.
What's going on here?
So, anyway, so Genuine almost died holding his breath in this tank of water, and then was fine after. He pounded on the glass.
He
but
pounded
then
on the glass as he was desperately hanging on.
He gyrated against the glass as he's fucking dying.
Is he dying or is he trying to fuck this tank? What's happening right now?
My breathing, I'm dying.
Yo,
bloop, 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 bloop.
Just the words "genuine magic." I'm just thinking, like, how far can you fall?
Genuine's like, I'm doing a residency in Las Vegas. Oh, that's cool. You do it? He's like, it's a magic show.
It's not my magic show, though. It's Chris Angel's. So here's the deal, though. Does he go? Is he done? You almost die? You're like, I'm good. No, he goes on stage that night and My Pony's his ass into that water tank and does the trick.
A true trailblazer for magic.
For magic and entertainment.
Eat your heart out, David Copperfield.
Wow.
Jeez.
So-
What a performer. The show must go on.
Take notes. If you're trying to make it, take notes.
You
That's
know,
how a real artist has a
we
successful
we
career.
often warn in this show not to worship your heroes, but you know, the My Pony singer is Superman that day.
Well,
Michael, do you have anything?
I mean, I don't even know how to follow that up. I did watch it. I don't know if you guys saw, but Bruce Dickinson. There was somebody who jumped up on stage.
Alex, play the clip. We have a clip ready.
Yeah,
So,
so
we're gonna also insert this clip into the show.
Yeah, so Bruce Dickinson, the lead singer of Iron Maiden, there was a middle of an Iron Maiden show, and like a fan jumps up on stage, and at first it seems like they're like really like accepting him being on stage. They're like, "This is cool," and the guy's like, "Can you believe it? I'm on stage." Yeah, watch.
This guy.
Yeah, this
is
guy right
not-
here.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, fuck yeah."
The guy in the jorts.
Yeah, the guy in the shorts.
No, I'm sorry. Those are khaki pants. Khaki shorts.
The cargos with high socks and boots.
He is. He's giving a performance.
Yeah. Bruce Dickinson just is like, "No, fuck you," and just grabs him and he's like, "You're all get off my stage." So
Iron Maiden dealing with a lot of shit on this tour. Remember the flare gun by that?
Oh yeah, in Athens.
That Greek man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was very funny. So flare guns.
A lot of concert shenanigans happening this year.
The
guy grading the cheese.
Listen, Iron Maiden, you literally fly an airplane show to show. What's up with the security being so shit?
Yeah, I know. Well,
get the flare. Who didn't get the guy with the flare gun?
Do you know where that was? Where was I don't even remember like where that concert was.
I think I try. Nope, that's more on the My Pony singer here.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, you. Well, no, that was the Greek.
Do you have it? I did. I don't have it. I don't have where this
Anaheim.
concert's from. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anaheim, California.
Really? I almost have expected that to happen in like because they have like a huge South American like following too. Like the South American people love like heavy metal. They love like Iced Earth and shit like that. You know. So I have expected that, but either way, does anybody else have any other music news?
Yes, I do. Did you see Anderson .Paak?
Oh, I did see
this. And I'm so sorry. Bruno Mars and Silk Sonic refused to take any more Grammys for their Silk Sonic record.
Yeah.
They won all 4 Grammys that they were nominated for the song Leave the Door Open, and they were like, that's enough. We don't need to win every single category. We know how great this record was.
It's a smart move.
But Drake is also withdrawing, and so was The Weeknd, I think. They're withdrawing some albums from the Grammys.
Yeah, I think
Drake was never going to win a Grammy anyway, because that record is...
I think for
you heard it here, folks.
For Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars, I think it's a good business decision. I don't have the list offhand, but the number of other good albums that were released during the time period for this upcoming Grammys, it's like kind of inevitable that they would have won Album of the Year and another Record of the Year and blah blah blah.
Yeah, and
they would have faced so much hate because other artists who they may have overshadowed. Like, so they're kind of like, we're just going to avoid any backlash. We're going to let people realize, like, yeah, they probably would have won everything. We're not even going to get involved in the discussion and get internet sniped because we stole someone else's Grammy, like Adele or, you know, whatever other artists.
Oh, by the way, if Adele wins Album of the Year for that crap that they tried to flush down our throats in every major box store last Christmas, please.
Yeah,
a
B- album. It's Adele, so it's still good, but yeah, B-.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, you know, Kendrick Lamar and Taylor Swift and all these other people with huge fan bases, they're just like, yeah, we're gonna slide to the left.
Yeah. Should we move on? We're running out of time for the first segment, so
we're never out of time.
No.
Guys.
Yeah.
Hit us.
Guys. Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, here we go.
Makeup.
Oh, I did see that he has his own makeup line.
Ozzy Osbourne has launched a signature makeup collection, which is
for all you 60-year-olds who want to paint your fingernails black.
I like this endorsement. I'll tell you why. Ozzy actually wears makeup. He wears it every day. He's been wearing it for years. He puts on eyeliner all the time. There's so many scenes of him putting on makeup. Like, he has bat-shaped eyeliner palettes, and there's a bunch of makeup bags. There's a candle. There's an Ozzy candle you could light while you're taking a bath and putting on your spooky makeup.
Yeah, there it is. Look.
Yes. Very... Very cool.
He looks like a vampire on that.
He does.
He's a vampire.
Is this not Halloween makeup? Or is this like a serious
No,
makeup?
this is serious. Like there's like real makeup. Like they're doing this now. Like Chelsea has like Game of Thrones makeup from like when that was out.
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Wow, what a color palette! Different shades of black.
Yes, man. Come on, he's the Prince of fucking Darkness.
He's the Prince of fucking Darkness.
So
Vampire black, midnight black.
I
bat
thought you
black.
guys would enjoy Ozzy's makeup.
I mean, we always do love a nice, musician celebrity.
Yeah,
look at that.
The bat palette.
The bat palette.
It's very Ozzy. We'll have to insert the pictures.
Yeah, well,
I'll
insert the pictures
because
as well.
we love our rock star terrible
do.
brandings
Yes,
on
we
this
do.
show, and we represent them all the time.
Yeah.
Shout out to Grateful Dead Salad.
No, the star of the
Delicious.
show, Rammstein's S&M.
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that was better than the Rolling Stones Igloo Cooler?
Oh, I would. Well, you buy them both, so that way you have the cooler to put the Rammstein S&M stuff in. All right, let's move on. So, Pitchfork. So last week we did the greatest songs of the 1990s. This week we're going to cover the 150 best albums of the 1990s according to Pitchfork.
All right, let's start at number 150. Oh, that's not what we're doing.
I can read up if you want. So
Can I do the 20 countdown real quick?
Yes, please do.
All right. 20, Brown Sugar by D'Angelo. 19, When the Pawn by Fiona Apple. 18, Heaven or Las Vegas by Cocteau Twins. 17, Baduism by Erykah Badu. 16, Rid of Me by PJ Harvey. 15, One in a Million by Aaliyah. 14, Ready to Die by Notorious B.I.G. 13, Homework by Daft Punk. 12, Aquemini by Outkast. 11, Dummy by Portishead. 10, Nevermind by Nirvana. 9, The Low End Theory by A Tribe Called Quest. 8, Live Through This by Hole. 7, The Velvet Rope by Janet Jackson. 6, Homogenic by Bjork. 5, Enter the Wu-Tang Clan, 36 Chambers by Wu-Tang Clan. 4, Exile in Guyville by Liz Phair. 3, OK Computer by Radiohead. 2, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill by Lauryn Hill. 1, Loveless by My Bloody Valentine.
You can't make that face anytime someone mentions Bjork on the show. Like you say Bjork.
Please stop laughing at me, Michael.
Yeah, the Swedish geisha. Go fuck yourself.
She's Icelandic. Have some respect.
I hope she beats your ass with a goose on her neck.
Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna shove that fucking fermented shark fin in her fucking mouth.
All right, so first things that jump out to me that I'm just like, what? The Velvet Rope by Janet Jackson.
Yo, this album is not okay. I looked at this list and I'm like, she had that song from this record on it mirrors heavily the songs list, the albums. I'm like, this record is not influential to like anybody. I don't think it's really that influential, or like was.
I'm wondering if it is influential, and all respect, because like it's not the world I live in. It's not the particular world I live in. If it is influential, I could see it being influential to other black female artists.
Mm-hmm.
Missy Elliott, man.
or black women, in general.
Yeah.
But like
they gave Missy Elliott like the third best song, something like that.
And then her album's like in the 30s or 40s.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like put
Missy Elliott.
Missy Elliott is like the record. I think is was the force. You know what I mean? It was Missy. That was the sound, man. That was the sound of the 90s.
Well, it was the 1-2 punch with her and Lauryn Hill. That was like the boom boom. You know what I mean? Because I feel like Missy Elliott was that heavy, sort of.
But
more...
I mean, the Lauryn Hill is
that
represented,
right? And it's like we don't want to say that black women. It's like, well, you got your two choices, black women, chill. No, like, but it's just like
right, of course.
I'm not a big Janet Jackson fan anyway, but like I had literally never even heard of this album before.
And like
I know Rhythm Nation, I know Control, but so again, my knowledge is very limited. But I don't know. Did this have hits?
No, this was not a part of like. I don't think.
And this is late 90s, like 97.
Yeah.
Janet Jackson in 1997. I don't think was like it's. I just don't think this record is. It's so.
It just sticks out as like.
Also, the "Got It Till It's Gone" featuring Q-Tip and Joni Mitchell. Very weird. But it's just like, because I listened to like the sample and like tried to flavor it out, but it was just I don't get that choice in here. If anybody has any kind of context, because that was the one where I'm like I have no context.
Because looking at that other 20, I have listened to all the other 20.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, this is a good mixture of different genres. You have shoegazy, you have grunge, you have hip hop, you have some like pop punk, whatever. You have some weird like kind of auteur type of alternative rock. You have R&B, like that, like neo soul R&B that was big, like 95 to 2000, and so yeah, nothing else on that list makes me go top 20 really, like, because like we said last week, like rankings of things, it's like, as if you're in the conversation, that's the point,
right.
Like who's to say do you deserve to be number 7 or number 12? It's like, oh, it's just
it's tough.
But I don't know. Are you guys unfamiliar with any of more of these records?
I'm not. Okay, so the ones that are like more
because
unfamiliar.
I'll speak the praises if you have any questions or doubts.
Let's hear an artist that's been getting resurgence lately, and I'm curious to dip my toe in. What's up with the PJ Harvey? I listened to it. I just don't have a lot of like texture to it. What?
Excellent.
So like this artist is having a huge resurgence in the underground community, the vinyl community, the hip blogger community. Why and what's the deal?
PJ Harvey was like dark, gritty realism version of like what Alanis Morissette. Alanis Morissette is trying to make shit that gets on the radio and stuff, though. PJ Harvey is kind of like, I am cool making music that's kind of like Nick Cave, a reference that we were talking about yesterday. So it's kind of like spooky and a little off kilter, and it's not as like piano based as like Tori Amos, but it's like that kind of dark Lilith Fair. Like I'm a girl who still like doesn't shower and will be dirty on stage and will sing about like, you know, kind of like, you know, rape and fucking shit that's like dark and, you know.
Okay.
But excellent songwriter, a British artist.
See, because then that makes a British artist.
Yeah.
That makes sense to my non-American, like, who is this artist and why
that,
is it getting resurgence at this moment?
Rid of Me is like, it's not my favorite, but that is I think that was maybe her breakthrough one. It probably was like nominated or won the Mercury Prize in England and stuff, but yeah, check it out. It's especially like, you know, Phoebe Bridgers and artists like that are doing kind of like PJ Harvey type music filtered through growing up on pop punky indie, like Tegan and Sarah, whatever type of music.
So let's also talk about if that we're in the same kind of like more women affronted music that's like very popular right now. Let's bring in the whole record in there. So that record is a record that has always had like its indie cred. A lot in the 90s was Courtney Love Backlash. A lot of people kind of still may feel that way.
She killed Kurt Cobain, man.
There you go. I wasn't gonna say that, but that's like the backlash of the Courtney Love, and the argument is that, you know, she's not her own thing, but clearly this record, it has a bunch of great songs on it. I always really like this record. I think it's a great grunge record. And so I thought that was a cool record to put in there. Do I think it's a top 20 record of the 90s? No, I do not. I don't think it's that record.
It was ranked higher than Nirvana. Was it ranked higher than Nirvana?
It is ranked higher than Nirvana's record.
Missy Elliott was brought up. She is not on the list until 74.
Whoa. Oh, yeah, I thought it was in the 40s, but it's low.
Deep in that list.
And it is the debut album.
So, do I think Hole is better than that Nirvana record? Nope. I think that Nirvana record is that record, but that whole record is really, really good. It says a lot of things, and it's definitely the twin to that Nirvana record. It's the female perspective of that, and it's not the same sound of that, but like the production's not the same at all. It's very much more raw and out there, but I really like that record, and I thought it was cool to get represented and thrown in there, and I think it's an interesting record. Again,
if you're not familiar with that, that's a great album.
It is a great album,
and I
think it's like a even more a digestible album than the Liz Phair record, because the Liz Phair record's really long. It's big. It's a big record where like the whole record is more of like, it's more aggressive and raw, but it's like, you know,
more digestible maybe.
I think in one sitting,
I would say the only and I don't even know.
Cocteau Twins fans.
In fact, I don't even know who the hell that is.
Yo, that's the other one where I'm just like, it's that UK sensibility. I have no reference.
Well,
for.
you have the other two pillars of like United Kingdom shoegazy dream pop. You got My Bloody Valentine #1, and you have, where is it on the list? Portishead Dummy. So like Scottish and British bands that are like Wall of Sound.
Yeah.
Where the like it's dreamy and great records though. Would I put it on and listen to it? I don't. But I have listened to it.
I love My Bloody Valentine. They're a great band, and of the '90s era. But if you're gonna put them, that's the #1 album. It's quite a lot of what Sonic Youth had laid down before, and like those bands. And I just feel like if you're gonna throw that in the top 20, you think that's important. Sonic Youth is such an important band to everybody in the '80s, and then continuing into the '90s, whether it would have been getting Nirvana signed to Geffen, or dragging Pavement on Lollapalooza with them, or
but albums.
But even
they made
so,
like one great album in the 90s.
Goo and Dirty, still though, great records.
And Goo's on the list. Goo's like in the 50s maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you know what I mean.
Number 88.
88. If you're gonna put the My Bloody, it's like, are they that different? You know what I mean? I know that.
I'll argue, man, because My Bloody Valentine is an album that like it took him almost 3 years to make, and it sounds like it because it's like sealed in perfection, like over analyzing every fucking sound on that whole record.
Yeah.
It's like
it's got its thing, but what I'm just saying,
the
like
Steely Dan of grunge music.
Throw the other in there. You know what I mean? Like give it some more context for because like in America, it's still like that is a popular record, but only for like a certain sect of people. Like it's not. This is like we're putting it up on the. You know what I mean? But it's still. I feel like if you listen to it, you're like, what the fuck? There's like no. The context is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
So
I do, but also.
Otherwise, it's just like you know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel about it. Is it's a bit contextless when you're looking at the rest of the top 20.
You're a big, especially when it comes to punk world music. You like get it done, sloppy, real, not sloppy on purpose, but like real, authentic, whatever. And this is like the exact opposite. This is like we tracked the drums in 1989, and then we tracked the vocals 2.5 years later because we're like building it inch by inch.
Yeah.
So it's so opposite from what punk world music kind of usually is.
Yeah.
Tom Petty is pretty deep in the list, down in the 130s. Is that a fair assessment?
Wildflowers.
Yeah, that's like a 130 album for me. It's like Tom Petty.
Yeah, it's a conversation.
It was good. It's a good record. It's on the list, definitely. But like, that's like, I wonder, did they put any Johnny Cash American recordings on there? Because for me, those are like, that's like the same level as those as Tom Petty records.
Well, while he's looking that up, like, so albums that you think you looked at them, you saw them, you go, yep, okay, cool, that belongs there within the top 20. I mean, obviously,
all the rest for me.
Yeah, Lauryn Hill, right on. I think OK Computer, right on.
Daft Punk, cool. Erykah Badu, awesome, rad.
Yep.
Aquemini, for people who have yet to like dive deep into Outkast. Stankonia is like their big record, and then Speakerboxxx Love Below was their like awards record. But Aquemini, that is my go-to still of their discography. It's right in the middle. It's their third album.
Yeah.
And it's like, Outkast is getting kind of strange and weird and out there, and George Clinton, parliamenty, and
right.
It's like,
yeah.
I remember Outkast really as a kid. Like that was like something that was like mind blowing. Like hearing it and be like, oh, that is different.
Yeah.
You guys into Portishead?
No, man.
No.
That's another one on that list where I'm like, again, it's the UK versus American sensibilities of like what you think is going to be the best albums of the 90s. I think that's the real thing of this at my list. I'm like, I can clearly see that like that and this. And then there's like still in the 90s, not that clear like vibing over mix. And it's still there now. There's still UK artists that want to get
play Dummy at some point.
Yeah.
Because Dummy is like, this might sound like the worst thing, but it's the first thing I think of. Take the music of like what was early alternative rock, like real alternative rock, not like grunge, but alternative rock in the 90s, and make it like kind of vibed out smooth jazz.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll give it a listen, yeah.
It's like haunting female vocals. It's like cool like drum beats and kind of just like gentle washes of bass and guitar stuff.
Also,
great album.
If we're getting outside the top 20, even though I'm a big fan, the Elliott Smith so close. I feel like Elliott Smith is really cool and great and fine, but there are cooler, more interesting records I feel that were made in the 90s. And the other thing I'm sick of seeing like on the like list is like the neutral milk hotels, and because like.
Oh, I'm surprised that wasn't 20.
But that's what I'm saying. It's so
or top 20.
It's like I've heard those records talked about. So they're so like ubiquitous in the Pavement.
Silver Jews.
Yeah.
Now it's like 21. I think it was right outside.
Right,
20.
and like it's all those like and the Bella and Sebastian like. For me, Elliott Smith, Bella and Sebastian, and Neutral Milk Hotels is like. A lot of the same sound and a lot of like the same kind of feel, and like they're different artists. I understand.
All pine trees look the same, but they're all different.
You can describe them many ways. So, for me, like when you combine like that many kind of artists that are like the same genre, I would have liked to see more. That's where I'm just like, you gave us like the noise classic up front, but like where's like you didn't put like a Dinosaur Jr. record that close, and like that's close on, you know what I mean, or like this kind of that kind, you know what I mean. I just feel like there was some more flavors you could put in there, and I at this point in 2022 I've had enough of the context of the folk singer, like the sad emo-y folk singer thing. That's like it got its thing, it's got its representation. Give me more context of like the dance stuff and kind of
hey, big respect for not included in any of the 250 songs. Number 22, Illmatic by Nas. I was happy to see that there, because when I saw that first list, I was like, oh, these motherfuckers are going to bury Illmatic to like number 80. He was like 22.
Yeah, so I mean, Illmatic is up there. Wu-Tang Clan is the highest ranking one of like, say, that sort of that group. You know, Enter the 36 Chambers, it's a great album. Is it better than the Biggie album? I don't know. That's up
but they're
for debate,
like 5
but
spaces away.
Yeah, they're fairly close. But it was cool to see that. You know, I like them giving Tribe Called Quest their due. I liked like you had mentioned with Outkast, you know, Aaliyah, who, I mean, as to no surprise, she's, you know, her song itself was, I think, number 2 or 3 or something like that. Or was it number what? Was it number 1?
No.
Mariah
but D'Angelo too, man. I mean, Brown Sugar, amazing album. So right on, giving him his due, because I feel like that was definitely, you know, spot on. You know, Dr. Dre's The Chronic at, you know, 24, and then as you move up a little bit further, you have Public Enemy, and then you've got another Bjork album. And then, you know, Mos Def, Tupac, you know, Lil' Kim's Hardcore from '96. So it's, you know.
How about some glaring omissions? No, Color and the Shape by Foo Fighters did not make the top 150.
They avoided like the more poppy side of like after grunge.
Yep.
They avoided that shit like the plague on this list.
Neither of the giant Jamiroquai albums made it. And Traveling Without Moving, that has Virtual Insanity on it, is like a perfect 90s funk record.
Yeah.
And Synchronized, the one after that, was also like 99, and that had Canned Heat, which is a huge song and great album. No Primus at all.
Oh, Primus didn't make it, huh?
No Primus albums, and they released.
Come on, Jerry was a race car driver.
Yeah, they
that
released
was like
three big albums in the 90s, I would say.
Sailing the Seas of Cheese.
Yeah, that's the one I would have chosen. No, System of a Down's debut didn't make the list, and no Tool at all.
Guys.
So like for all the like kind of darker metal world people, like this wasn't really. I didn't look at the full 150, but I would venture to say there were probably not even 5 metal records on the top 150.
So. No Sublime.
No Sublime.
No Sublime.
I don't practice. They clearly do not practice.
Yeah,
it,
no, they don't. They would have invoked
really?
some sort of.
Yeah, I didn't look at the full list, but I'm surprised to hear that, because that was
I'm
was
saying,
what
like,
they
if
say,
you're looking
the
at
face that sent 1,000 ships or whatever.
I don't want to like keep
Yeah.
singing the praises of this, but like, if you want to look at the musical context, and like
Yeah.
a lot of what's going on right now, it's clearly very heavily influenced by that band. They're very popular. They have a biopic coming out, maybe,
which we can't wait to watch.
I think that not being on there is the same thing as the color and the
Color
shape not being
It's
on there.
everything that was like on that kind of
A little too commercially
Mhm.
successful.
This is definitely like the hipsters list. So
Yeah.
you know, it is.
You gotta listen to Cocteau Twins.
It's not.
Tell me
my,
what you think.
This
After you listen to Bjork.
That's not happening.
I did like to see the Bratmobile Bikini Kill was on the list. That was cool. Soundgarden definitely was neat. And then Fugazi, stuff like that. Cool, great, interesting. But
right on. So let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you think it's a good list? Do you think our assessment of the list is good or bad?
Well, can we end with what would you have put at number one? Not really, not fully your own personal unique taste, but kinda. What's number one?
I don't know. What's yours?
Oh, also not in the top 20 at all, which I thought maybe was Oasis's What's the Story, Morning Glory.
Oh yeah,
like
it must have been on the list somewhere though.
But it's a big pop record that they were just like, no,
Oasis
not
is not on the list.
Yeah.
Oh, they snubbed Oasis.
See what I'm saying though? That was a huge record, big hits. Everybody liked it. Like unlike Be Here Now, but
unlike Be Here Now.
If I was doing my number one.
I'll say mine.
Yeah.
If I'm looking at the list, I would just move Lauryn Hill down one.
Yeah, that's
one
what I
click
was
and
just
be
about
like,
to
she's
say.
number one.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yeah,
I'd call that number one.
The Lauryn Hill record is clearly like the and then for me, I'm like anywhere where you could put that Tribe record is like amazing. That's my favorite record, I think, of the 90s. It might be like at least recently in my life. So
yeah, like I said, I don't have much complaint about that top 20.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, maybe Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
And that sounds like, everybody would probably do that, but
yeah,
that would probably be number one.
So what's your number one? Let us know.
Downward Spiral.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and then we'll give you our 2 new album reviews. We'll be right back. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Hofner Guitars. I have here the Hofner Shorty. It is a full-scale, travel-size guitar. You can find this and all of their products at hofnerguitars.com. All right, everybody, welcome back to Get in the Garage.
We're the music podcast.
For music lovers.
Time for our 2 new album reviews. Luca, would you like to usher us into the first of the 2, please?
Yeah, we're going to review Charlie by Charlie Puth.
Charlie.
This is a pop record for the ages. It is big, bombastic. It's a breakup record. Charlie's pretty sad. So let's get into what is making Charlie tick at this moment. What do we feel about this record,
What's
guys?
making him tick-tock, so to speak?
Ooh, because he
kind of created this album piecemeal, showing like behind-the-scenes stuff on TikTok.
Yeah.
Which is like interesting and cool marketing and all that stuff, but he is a guy who's like a musical savant who, perfect pitch and like obsessive about production and engineering and sounds and little bits he can put all of his records. So he would like, be like, hey, I found this light switch sound. And then I tuned it into this and then I used it in this beat. And then he creates songs around like little things he hears just in nature or little things he just like thinks of moments and then constructs things around it.
So my first kind of like, well, not my first, but my overall impression of this record is that he is a really great producer. The light switch noise you're talking about is in the song Light Switch, and that definitely popped out to me. You can hear the light switch flicking on and off. Where the record kind of loses me a little bit is like I love the production, all those tricks. It was beautiful, great. There's a ton of them on the record, and it's good to listen to. The like lyrical stuff I'm not like so into. It is very pop oriented.
Bubblegum.
Like turn on like a light switch. Like that metaphor for me is not like super great or deep or like but like Jeff said, he makes the best of it, and it is more of like stuff that's really friendly, like to say it does have some F-bombs in it, like there's some cursing and stuff on the record, but like to say that Turn Me On Like a Light Switch is a really, really like what am I trying to say? Like a nice way of saying like
it's PG-13.
Yeah, it's a PG-13 of saying like,
I want to fuck you.
Yeah.
Minor sexual
So
innuendos.
there you go. And it's like that's a lot of like what the record is. It's more geared towards like a college, high school sensibility of love and relationships and
or even younger possibly.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of that kind of stuff, but like production again, let's talk about maybe like the song Left and Right, which is one of my favorite songs on the record, where it's with the member Jungkook of BTS, and you can hear the song goes, you can hear me over here, you can hear me over here, and it pans from your left to right and then into the middle. It's one of the most interesting things I've heard in like stereo panning on a pop song in a long time, and I really loved that stuff. Like that's really thoughtful and what made that song one of the best songs on this record, I think. Big blocky choruses though, huh? Where he like switches up into halftime, like he'll be doing like a hip hop beat in the verse on a lot of songs, and then like the first track on the record that's hilarious. He does these big like chum chum.
Yeah, right.
Chum chum chum.
Very like 1986.
Chum chum.
Like
Yes.
Simple Minds or Crowded House and Tears for Fears type of choruses.
Yeah,
absolutely. I don't think I Like Her is another song that has those big blocky chunks going on with the chung 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 kind of thing, and that was my favorite one on the record like that. It really, really just worked for me in a lot of ways, and I like the chorus on that one too, where he's like, I don't think I like her anymore, like girls just want to break my heart, where that worked for me because it was more like funny and like the way he was coming at the lyrics, and for me I'm like that works because like it's more self-deprecating and I had fun with it in the pop song, where like maybe like a song like Tears on My Piano, which is like a little too seriously, or like When You're Sad I'm Sad, which kind of like comes off like a little like schmaltzy and doesn't have that kind of like self-laughter, where like I Don't Think I Like Her comes off like that, though where he tries to dig in as in like more serious sided. I couldn't really get into that on this record, but to they're pop, it's poppy, it was okay.
Yeah, it's just pop.
Yeah, I agree. We touched on it, I think, right before you came here, Jeff. But like we were talking, like in reference to maybe like you can't help but kind of draw the bridge over to like Harry Styles, which is the other like big pop album of this year. But even like Youngblood, like the Youngblood record, this is kind of like the yin yang sort of thing. I think like where Charlie is clearly the more like bright shining star, if you want to call it that, and then Youngblood's kind of like that darker sort of like brooding kind of thing, but they're they have like those sorts of similarities. I enjoy how he sort of, and a lot of artists do it now too, but I like his use and the way that he uses auto-tune in his music too. Like it's sort of its own vocal filter now. It's not really like, it's not really strictly there to correct maybe flat notes or sharp notes or something, as much as it's there to kind of like add a little bit of a color or a shimmer the way a guitar player would use an effects pedal. Like that's pretty cool. I appreciate that.
Have you he is very open about his use of autotune, since he is kind of like a producer, songwriter, and then performer, kind of in that order.
Right.
And he's just like, record it. Here's what it is. And he puts it out in the world. Like, here's what it sounded like when I record it. And then you can see right here, I tweaked these couple notes because these couple notes are off because I want it to sound as good as I hear it in my head. Like,
right.
So he kind of has that Post Malone kind of like, dismissive and bad kind of way of saying it. That goatee type of like shake in his voice at times. But that is his natural voice. And he just uses what he has on his computer to just make things sound as good as they can.
I think he's got a nice falsetto. I really enjoy his falsetto. So important to note too that like 6 singles preceded the album. So it was Light Switch, Left and Right, Smells Like Me, I Don't Think That I Like Her, Charlie Be Quiet, and That's Hilarious. So those, but as we said, like it came out with TikTok, like and that kind of thing. Highlights for me, the song Light Switch. I did like that song. I think Luke, you had mentioned it, where you hear the light switch clicking on and off. That's pretty cool. It's also paired with like kind of a funny music video. Shout out to Billy Blanks, all my Thai Bo friends out there. Left and Right, I like that. That was young Jungkook, I think is how you pronounce it.
Jungkook from
Jungkook,
BTS.
from BTS. I think that the chorus on that, like the cool panning, that sort of producer sort of wizardry thing. I did like When You're Sad, I'm Sad. I like that there was a ballad. I don't think it was the strongest song. But then the album closer too, I thought was really good. No More Drama. To me, it's kind of like it's got that cool intro, and you spend an entire album talking about like how he's sort of like heartbroken and all that. And I feel like No More Drama kind of like wraps it up in the end, and because his lyrics are very much just sort of kind of like, all right, now I'm putting you away. All right, now like that's it. Like let's get on with it, kind of thing. So. I thought it was a decent record, and at 33 minutes, it's not like this big bloated record either. It's like
12 songs maybe.
That's it. Yeah,
like Santa Gold.
Yes,
yeah.
I also wanted to bring up I thought you guys would think this was funny. The Charlie Be Quiet song.
That was my favorite song on the record.
Yeah. He was influenced by the Yin Yang Twins' Whisper because they whisper in that song, and he thought, why not make a song where I'm whispering, and that's like what the whole verse is. And I thought that was interesting to take. I like how when he brings it there, he's like, I took this song that you wouldn't think, which is talking about men's genitalia and whispering about it, which is really funny. And like he took it and wrote this like really like serious like song about like talking to himself. Also with before we like leave on this record, I also want to talk about the Harry Styles, Harry's House. This record's called Charlie. It's by Charlie Puth. Also Charlie Be Quiet is the self referencing yourself, and just like in As It Were, Harry Styles is referencing himself and talking to himself in that song. It is very, very similar. If I was Charlie Puth, I would have definitely stayed away from any of those kind of like things, especially like the self like being meta about yourself. I feel like Harry's is like really doing that right now, and
that's just a trend.
It is a trend.
Pop music.
It is, but I feel like this record doesn't carry I feel like the other record already did that for me, and like where this one it doesn't turn off like in a bad way. It's just like I'm just like, oh, that reminds me, and I don't love that. So that's it kind of came off to me as just like a good okay pop record.
Yeah.
Well, I think the important thing about Charlie Puth is he understands pop music is about hooks. Is a melody a hook? Is a chorus a hook? Is the bass line hook? Is a drum beat a hook? Is a little flares, a little light switch, a little nuance? And here's what I have to say. Charlie Puth,
the king of hooks,
successful because I mean, I only liked. I mean, earnestly, I liked about half of the songs, and the other half I was like, yeah, this is bubblegum corniness that is whatever. It's fun and goofy and silly, but it's still catchy. It still sticks in your head, and and there's still so much. Like, he played almost everything on this record. He had somebody come in and play guitar on probably like 3 songs, but everything else you hear, drums, bass, guitar, keyboards, it's all him on a MIDI thing making it at his house.
That's kind of why I would be like more interested in like a more lyrically dense artist coming in, and then him working with that, because the mix of those two would be, you know what I'm saying? So again, great pop producer, wonderful. I want to see more of like what comes out of like the
what's next.
Yeah,
see what comes out of it,
because he's very talented. Great. The studio trickery on this record is my favorite part of this record.
Right. So if we're going to rate it then, Pitchfork did not rate this, so I have no reference through Pitchfork to be rated. But
not a lot of people did rate this record. It's not been heavily reviewed.
I'm going to say, I'm going to go higher than you might think. I'm going to say 7.5. Maybe even close to an 8, because I just, when it comes to pure pop music, like I don't even give all the lyrics have been done before, all the whatever, and it's just like I just want fun, I just want catchiness, I like to be able to sing along to something. This is great singable music, and it's just
I would say, I mean, I think personal taste and all that stuff, I'll probably throw it somewhere around a 7, but I will definitely acknowledge that, like what you said, where it's just like it for what it is. It's catchy, hooky pop music, does all that stuff. You know what I mean? So, on that front, yeah, an 7.5, 8. Personal taste, probably 7. Would I go back and listen to these songs? Sure. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that there's, I don't think there's any like real stinkers on the album. It's just not really like what I listen to.
See, for me, there was some songs where I'm like, there's some more of like a couple stinkery ones. Where
like the slow jam.
Yeah,
I
the
didn't
piano
really
one,
like that much,
especially where he got meta. Like, why do I only write sad songs? I'm like, if I already thought this thought, and then you're thinking this thought, and halfway through the album, I was like, it's a little too much.
Yeah.
But for that reason, I'm out on Shark Tank, and this record is a 6.5.
There you go.
Yep.
What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. So there you have it. Onward,
and I think upward.
Jeffrey,
would you like to usher this new album review in?
Sure. This new album is the newest by Willow Smith. It's called Coping Mechanism, and this is a continuation of Willow's music into pop punk and even darker and stranger and more metal-y type of stuff. But this is a whole swirl of different sounds and styles.
Yep.
And just like the Charlie record, like a lot of records that I think are coming out, a lot of songs in this record are 2.5 minutes. I think this record probably clocks in at like 32 minutes with like 11 or 12 songs. And I enjoyed this record a lot.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too.
I really like this record.
It's not made for me. So
Same.
that's the thing, is like, if I was 17 when this came out, I'd be like, oh shit, this is a top 10 record this year.
Yeah, so it.
But also, I'm fucking 35 years old, and so it's not really for me. It's not for me.
Yeah.
This record is not for us, but it is good, and it has a lot of artistic flair that is on more artsy-fartsy records. And I really love the production on this record. I love the mix of genres on this record. It has drum machines, heavy metal breakdowns, emo style vocals, and even some like R&B flavored flared melodies on this album. Willow Smith is, or Willow as she's being called now, is an artist to be reckoned with. I think this is the future of rock music. It is where it needs to go. This record was exciting for me as a guitar record. I loved it. The melodies were strong, and this is why this is the future of rock music. It needs to go this way because it stopped the choppy, chunked up, jump riff style, jump vocals that we've been kind of dealing with since like the early 90s into today. It stops all like that Foo Fighters like riffed up stuff, and this is bringing soaring vocal melodies over interesting complex drum beats and guitar riffs. I love it. I'm here for it. Has a lot to do with DJs and sampling, but also has nothing to do with that at the same time.
I think Falling Endlessly is probably the song that comes closest to maybe like what you would say that chomp like, because I think that's the one where it's like dun 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 dun.
Oh
dun,
no,
dun, 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 dun.
I'm talking about big block chording out like Weezer's Say It Ain't So.
Yeah.
Sure.
Jump.
Gotcha.
That style. That's over. That's been
Machine
rock
Gun
music
Kelly.
for the past 20 years. This is over. This is so interesting.
So to be made of note, Jada Pinkett Smith was in a band called, oh crap, what were they called? Wicked Wisdom.
Yeah.
Sorry. They had like a famous performance at the 2005 Ozfest. So that it's kind of a nod to that. I think I had read somewhere that Willow actually like fronted the band and performed for Jada Pinkett Smith at some point for like her birthday or something like that. So you hear a little bit of that. For me, because listen, guys, I gotta call myself what I am, or at the very least what I was. At a certain time in my life, I was like a heavy listener of the bands like Alter Bridge and Seether and dare I say Nickelback and Creed. And for me, there was like a little bit of that flavor on this record. Another thing, the song Why was giving me like some Seven Dust vibes, because Seven Dust really liked using those sort of like Eastern scale kind of things in their music, and there is quite a bit of that peppered in across this record. But that's the vibe that I was picking up on. but also you get this sort of like Paramore thing going on, and then you get these like super big, great choruses that are like these super pop choruses too.
Maybe, oh yeah, Alex.
To note, the guitarist on all the songs in production was with Chris Criotti.
Yeah, Chris Criotti. Yeah.
Youngblood, Blink-182. Those are his really famous works.
I thought it was
Pussy Riot and Poppy.
I thought it was Todd Rundgren.
Oh, I thought that was David Bowie.
Oh my god, that guy is crazy looking. But
oh yeah.
The big, huge pop chorus on Maybe It's My Fault. Like,
right.
It's cool, man, and it has like the you're right, definitely the Paramore is the style of like melody in there a little bit, and like but she really
energy and stuff.
Yeah, the energy. But she sings her ass off. She can really sing.
She does. She's got there's some great moments, man, and some good like vocal tender moments. I can't remember the name of the song, but it's like right at the end of one song where she's doing this sort of.
I was trying to find that. I listened to it twice, and then I'm clicking through. I'm like, I thought it was like the last 20 seconds of one of these tracks, and I couldn't find it.
I know. I did the same thing this morning.
Screaming?
No, where she goes off into like an Erykah Badu like jazzy ending. Yeah,
she does these runs. Yeah. But good. So I mean, that to me shows that it's like, you know, can she put this sort of like distorted filter over her voice and like scream aggressive lyrics over stuff? Yeah, she can do that. But I think she can genuinely sing very well. Like she's got a good voice.
This reminded me like instantly when I played this album. It reminded me of the music I listened to heavily when I was 16, 17, 18, which was like not pop punk. Kind of that emo world, not quite screamo, but like bands specifically, like the second Taking Back Sunday album, Where You Want to Be, like, and I listened to that album afterwards. And I'm like, yeah, this is so much like it. 20 years later, or Thursday,
where she's going.
But I'm talking about instrumentation and like songwriting too. And Thursday specifically, another band that was like not metal enough to be screamo and not poppy enough to be pop punk.
Thursday, yeah.
So specifically the album like A City by the Light Divided, which is like maybe like 2006. So
Chicago band, I think maybe.
New Jersey. All those bands are New Jersey.
Jersey.
Yeah,
say it right.
As far as I know. And so like just that. But I love the mix of this record. I did notice after listening to it a couple times. Strangely, I think that. I enjoyed the mix song by song, but then listening to them on repeat, it seemed like maybe they were mastered strangely to my ear. Like some songs were noticeably slightly louder than the rest, but also this thing is like pushed to the max mixing wise, volume wise, with tons of dynamics still. There's still tons of like it has troughs of where it settles and it goes low energy and low volume. But yeah, clean mix. The drummings are so like crispy in a good way, and
the drumming is so interesting on this record. And like another record we talked about, like the Domi and JD Beck record, where the drumming is like that stop-starting craziness. This is the stop-starting craziness that works melodically. It does it, and I think "Why" is one of the songs that does that. But like even like "No Control" is like one of the softer ballads on the record, and that's one where she's like throwing off those like R&B like. And at the ends, and you're like, oh, so she's singing like an emo acoustic ballad, but then she's also throwing R&B style melodic flavor, and you're just like, nobody has done this yet. Like nobody is taking the emo thing and putting like any influence of like Erykah Badu in there. Like that hasn't been done at all, because it's all, and she's just like tweaking it, and you hear the influence in it, and that's where, for me, like songs like "No Control" are. I really like this album. I think in the emo genre, this is a high watermark. Like, make a record as good as this now. This is the new. She's the new scene of that.
Yeah, and also like we said, it's about 30 minutes long. It's 11 songs, so it's in and out. You know what I mean? I think it's a good like quick. You could, you know what I mean? It comes and goes.
But they aren't throwaway songs, because even like the 2-minute and 30-second songs are like. This does have 2 verses, 2 choruses, a bridge. Like, it just hits you fast.
Bringing the bridge back, baby.
I was going to say that to you. Charlie Puth and this Willow record wrote a shit ton of bridges and pre-choruses. And if there's not, like, a bridge on it,
cancel them.
There's definitely a pre-chorus on a lot of the stuff. I thought that was, like, I noticed that instantly. I was like, oh, these albums are 30 minutes long. This is going to be verse, chorus, verse out, verse, chorus, verse out, and it wasn't verse, chorus, verse out. It was so textured.
Like that song, I think it's I think it's the second song, "Falling Endlessly," that has a pre-chorus.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun, and then there's a minute, and then it boom into the chorus. You know what I mean? That's separate than. Right, yeah. Right, and it's not the same thing as the verse. You know what I mean? So it's like you're like, okay, cool. Oh fuck yeah, pre-chorus, cool.
Another thing I wanted to bring up too, Evanescence. Like, like Evanescence is like the influence on that is cool because that record was like hugely popular and influential in our youth.
Yeah,
and then to hear somebody like take that and bring it into like a new era. Also, I'm gonna shout out like a more like low key band like that, Lacuna Coil.
Right, yeah.
So like I had a lot of that kind of stuff going on. I really liked it. It brought me all back to like the Ozfest style bands.
Yeah.
And all the pop punk bands mixed in one. I really liked this record.
You know, she should open up for that Chris Angel show. Is what she should do. Be like, you know.
Don't want to die.
She's too young. Willow's too young to die.
I'm really a fan of Willow Smith now. And I really think this record is the future of rock and roll, at least in like the major market radio sense. Like
she was just on SNL last week, or maybe.
Blue like really did a great performance. Smashed her guitar, you know.
I'll tell you what. We
placed her guitar.
I mean, so I got in the car. I played this. I was like, my wife Jade. I was like, hey, we're gonna listen to this Willow Smith record, and she's like, really, Willow Smith? She's like, my hand back and forth. Exactly, though. That's what she said. She's like, isn't that like how Willow? I'm like, just wait a minute and listen to this. I'm telling you, it's different. We got like the third song, and she's like, yeah, this is not what I expected, but I like this. This is cool. Like, I'm into it, you know? And I'm like, I told you, it is not what I expected it to be. When we talked about covering this record, I was like, okay, because With My Hair Back and Forth was like my only real reference to her, you know? And
I thought we talked.
Like,
I thought we talked about her pop punk record she did last year.
Yeah, and
did we?
Yeah, we have been talking.
We didn't review it, but we talked
talking about like singles that she's released, and also she was on the
working with Machine Gun Kelly, like featured on Youngblood.
But she was on the Youngblood record where she did that running that I loved so much, and then this record was just like full.
You
of
should have
that
been like,
shit.
Jay, I'm gonna play you the new Willow record, and then just start My Immortal.
So I will say though, let's call them out because I love calling out Pitchfork. They did not favor this record very much. They gave it a 6.7. The headline is Gen Z philosophers' hard rock era continues with an album about love and hurt, pain and healing, done with great nuance, but not quite enough originality. And which is interesting because we talked about it, and Luke's just like, I feel like she's breathing sort of new life into this genre and all that stuff, and I'm like, oh well, here comes Pitchfork to just be like,
that's why they're called Pitchfork.
Yeah.
I think a big thing, especially like Luke's a lyrics guy, and like I didn't dive deep into the lyrics on this album, but I always am slightly reticent because I'm like, hey, there is a whole different subsection of problems and mental health issues that come from being the child of incredibly famous people.
Yeah.
But also, you're the trust fund child of incredibly famous people making music about how upsetting your life is. And I think a large group of people who make $25,000 a year are like, fuck that. Fuck that. These aren't real problems.
Yeah, right.
This is which of my 400 pairs of shoes do I wear today problems.
That is.
So I think that's where people drop it down 1.5 points.
That is the argument for the record. Being somebody that is like heavily immersed in the pop punk genre, these lyrics are not embarrassing. Like when you look back at a lot of those lyrics, the reason why they're bad is they're embarrassing. They're just like really, they don't hold. This I wouldn't be embarrassed to sing half the shit she's singing on this record. That's why I'm like, in the metaphors. There's one on here where it's like, you're the moon to my tide, and you're dragging me in and out, and like that kind of metaphor is raised up from a lot of like Blink-182's tried hard not to get caught, fucked a chick in a parking lot, like
yeah.
Do you see
the
what
William Shakespeare of our time?
Do you see do you see though?
Yeah.
Like it's not. It's
yeah. I see what you're saying.
It's more of like it's a different.
It's poetic. It's from that neo soul 90s
yes,
type of songwriting,
where it
journalistic
I,
stuff.
I don't think people are giving it
Yeah.
the credit it deserves.
I think there's a cool companion thing too. I don't know if it's for every streaming platform, but Spotify is what we use. At the very top, when you go to the album
did the
page,
Youngblood thing. I was
she
thinking
did the Youngblood thing,
they
which
must
was pretty
have the
cool.
same management.
Yeah,
they're all
and-
doing that now.
Are they? Yeah.
The
But,
stories
it's
or whatever
interesting.
behind the scenes.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because there's like some introspective thoughts. Like I think the main thing that she talks about on hers is it's the first track off of Coping Mechanism where she goes, maybe it's my fault, where it is this introspective thing, this idea that's like, if you're involved in sort of a bad relationship or something, a lot of times it's like, well, what you did to me, and it's kind of taking ownership of your own faults in a situation and being like, well, maybe I did something wrong. So I think that idea and that is kind of like a sentiment that's like resonating with young people. That's cool because it's like telling like Gen Zers, quote unquote, to like, hey, like humility's a good thing and like being humble's a good thing and introspectiveness is a good thing.
Well,
and it's not just, like.
Mike, if you tuned in, these are the kind of high ideas that are being brought to the table on Red Table Talk every week.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Get woke, you cisgendered white male.
I'm sorry. Well, what can I say? In other news, Ted Nugent's coming out with a new album.
I wish the video on the Spotify story was like, let me clearly air. Yes, my dad slapped another very famous guy. All right, now let's talk about my record.
Which is
because that's gonna be some of the discourse around it. Is like, are some of these lyrics about the pain of her family being in the spotlight? It's like, yeah, probably she's been under a microscope since she was born.
Yeah,
right.
and that's the other thing that
and those are real problems.
It is, and give this record a fair chance. If you're a fan of any of the bands we mentioned, which we numerously mentioned, like 30 bands that
spanning several genres
of music, even like a Korn fan, like you should listen to this. It is cool and interesting and fun. I like this
at
record.
At the absolute very least, this is an interesting mix of pretty disparate styles of music, from that like chugging, metally, kind of frenetic, modern, whatever, like alt emo kind of rock music, to that kind of neo soul throwback, like world music, kind of chanteuse type of music.
Yeah. So if we're giving ratings, like I said, Pitchfork did rate and review this one. They put it at a 6.7, a very, very Pitchfork number to throw on it. But if we're giving ratings around the table, what do you guys? How are we feeling?
Yeah. If this was 2005 and this came out, it would be like a 9. But it's 2022 and I'm 35 years old, so this is a strong 8, and it's leaning more towards an 8.5. But I didn't get too deep into the lyrics. Maybe I would put it at 8.5 if I connected more with the lyrics. But I don't, because I'm fucking 35 years old.
Yeah, right. So. I'll agree with you. I'm gonna say I'll give this a strong 8. I think it's cool. I think I'm interested in seeing what she does next and after this, and maybe what direction she goes in. But for me, yeah, I'll give it an 8. I did like it.
Yeah, as far as pop rock goes, as I said, there's future of it. 8. I'd like to hear more stuff like this, more just everything like this. 8. Great rock music, pop music.
Cool. Yeah, let us know what you think in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let us know. Before we send off, as always, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe and all that. And for all of you who support us and everything, we see you, we love you. Thank you so very much for all the support and all the things that you do.
You gotta give out that special shout out.
A special shout out to Aunt Janie, my aunt who watches every single episode, every single full episode. Hi, Aunt Janie. We'll try to do more Beatles coverage for you. Revolver did that. Whole thing's happening.
We're definitely gonna talk.
I
about
had
that.
a conversation with a woman the other day who was like, the Beatles are most overrated band of all time. I hate their music. She's like, and I play guitar, and they just play 3-chord songs. And I was just like, I'm gonna keep my fucking mouth shut. I'm not about to get in an argument with this lady who has no idea what she's talking about.
Yeah, because let's face it, it's the Beatles.
She
man.
said I would take the Monkees over the Beatles.
Oh,
and I said you could get the fuck out of this room. But so Aunt Jane, we love you.
We do love you. Thank you so
Beatles
much.
here.
Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us on every episode. So until next time, guys, this has been Get in the Garage. Have a good week at school.
Thanks for listening.
Goodbye.